Hey, Jefferson Santos here again, International Marketing Director with Worldventures. We are starting the last Getting Started video, but this is not your last video you're ever going to learn from, but this is the last video in the series. And we're talking about third-party validation. Who is validating you? And this is so key right here. This is like the magic pixie dust that really gets the thing going and gets the duplication going. So let's go ahead and break this down real quick. And so you've got you and your prospect. In between you and your prospect, you know each other. You might have known each other a few weeks or possibly several years, okay? And then you have an expert. And an expert is someone that's not you, all right? That's really, really important because there's a lot of times where you're trying to show your friend something or a contact, and it's your opinion versus their opinion versus your opinion, and it's kind of like you're butting heads. But when you introduce a third-party expert to the equation, they're kind of on their best behavior, okay? And so what I want to talk about here in this video is the relationship between the three people, how you interact with that, how do you set it up properly to maximize the relationships, and then also what you do after that. So right here, there's trust and respect between the expert and you, okay? Because obviously you respect them, they're the expert. There's trust there because they're helping you build your business. Now, the expert does not have to be somebody in your upline. A lot of people get a little bit trapped in that. They have to say, well, somebody in my upline, which is those are the people above you in the compensation plan that are financially incentivized to help you, okay? It's mathematically impossible for your upline to do three-way calls with everybody. Does that make sense? Or a two-on-one presentation or a three-way call. So an expert is anybody that you've met in Worldventures that's got a great story that can kind of basically help validate what you're already saying. Does that make sense? Because we always say a prophet is not a prophet in his own hometown or his own land or her own land, okay? Familiarity breeds contempt. If they know you too well, they're not going to respect you on a certain subject, okay? So there's trust here because you're showing your friend or your prospect or whatever, but a lot of times there's not respect on the subject of building a business, right? And so here, you're going to create a bridge of respect between your prospect and also the expert, okay? And you're going to do that using a term called edification. You know, and edification means simply this. It means to build up or to strengthen, okay? And what you're going to do, and I'll explain and give you the verbiage here, is what you're going to do is you're going to introduce your prospect to the expert. And the only thing your prospect knows about the expert is what you say about the expert, okay? And you kind of want to build it, not false flattery, but genuine edification, but you want to act like the expert like walks on water, or they're kind of like Donald Trump or something like that. You want to really build them up to where your prospect's like, wow, I'd love to talk to them. And versus, you know, some kind of ambush thing where you're kind of ambushing it with two people on one person. You don't want to create that situation, all right? So let's kind of play this out here. So let's just make an example. Let's say it's a three-way phone call. A three-way phone call or two people that are in the business that are talking to somebody that's not in the business. That's what a three-way phone call is, all right? And so what you want to do too is call your expert or text your expert first, or maybe you've got several experts that you can use and kind of group text them and say, hey, who's available today at 5 o'clock or tomorrow between 4 and 6? Who's available for a three-way phone call, quick validation because I'm doing some presentations. So don't just rely on one person to be your third-party expert. Have other people as well, so you're not painting yourself into a corner, all right? And so don't ambush your expert. For example, here's what ambushing is. You call your expert. Let's say I'm calling Rob up. Hey Rob, hey, it's Jefferson. I got Jared on the line right now, or I got Megan on the line right now. Can you talk to him? Like, they could be in the middle of a presentation. They could be in the middle of changing their kid's diaper. I don't know. Like, don't ambush your expert. Let them know that you need their help in a few hours or possibly a day in advance. That really helps that. And also, your expert has caller ID. So if you keep on ambushing them, they're probably not going to take your calls anymore. All right. Little joke there, a little being facetious. All right, so let's talk about how the introduction happens, all right? So let's say there's you, there's your friend that's a prospect, and then there's the expert. So for example, let's say I'm talking to my prospect, Megan, okay? And I'm introducing to my expert, Rob, okay? So I'm gonna text Rob up way beforehand. Hey Rob, listen, I've got a prospect named Megan I'm talking to at 6 o'clock, between 6 and 7 today. Are you gonna be available? Okay, and let's say he replies, sure, yeah, I'll be available. Say, great. So about a minute before the call, I call Rob up, my expert, and I say, Rob, here's who Megan is, kind of give them a lowdown on, her personality type, what her hot buttons are, things like that. Because once I get Rob on the phone with Megan, pretty much I'm going to be quiet and let Rob take over. I'm going to let Rob do the heavy lifting, the expert do the heavy lifting for me. Okay, that's how simple this business is. A lot of us, you're trying to do it all, put it all on your back. Don't put it all on your back. Use a third-party validation, all right? So give him a heads up. So he's well informed when he goes into the phone call to help move her to a buying decision, okay? And the expert's job is to get the prospect pretty much to a buying decision or very, very close, okay? And I'll come back to that in a second, all right? And so here's what I do. I three-way Rob in first. Now me and Rob, I brief him on who Megan is, and then all of a sudden now I'm going to patch Megan into the call. And she answers the phone, and this is obviously after she's watched the video. So I'm like, ring, ring, ring. She says, hello. I say, Megan, how's it going? Good. Hey, did you watch that video? That was awesome, wasn't it? And I'm nodding my head even when I'm on the phone, like, because the body language goes through the phone, right? And she's like, oh, that was great. Now let me pause for a second. If I asked Megan, that was awesome, wasn't it? And she's like, well, I don't really know. I'm probably not going to introduce the expert on the phone. He's probably just going to stay quiet, and I might just kind of say, hey, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to do this? And she's kind of negative. I'm not going to even bring my expert on the phone or introduce her, because then all of a sudden it gets all weird and stuff. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so just be cognizant of that. And so I call her up. She's like, yes. Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome, wasn't it? She's like, yeah, that was great. So, hey, listen, real quick. It's very important that you say the word real quick, okay? So, hey, listen, real quick, Megan, I took the liberty to grab my friend Rob. He's on the line with me right now. He's only going to pop on here for a couple of seconds to say hello. But Rob he owns 7 companies, very, very successful in his own right, doing very well in the business. And hey, Rob, my friend Megan, matter of fact, we went to school together, and she's one of the smartest gals that I know. She really helped me with a lot of tests and stuff. And I wanted you two guys to meet, and Rob meet Megan, Megan meet Rob. Okay, so I edified the expert first to my prospect, Megan. And then I edified Megan to my expert. So now she knows that the expert knows who she is. That's important, okay? And then the last piece is once I make the introduction, I kind of step back and put duct tape on my mouth, and I don't say anything. I never interrupt my expert. He's doing all the heavy lifting. Every time I jump in and interrupt him, I'm breaking down the credibility, okay? And that's just hurting my own paycheck, right? And so it's not about me trying to facilitate what I think I know. It's about the expert doing the heavy lifting. All right, so now the last thing is the expert's going to return the edification to me. So it might sound something like this. Rob might say, oh, Megan, how long, man, Jefferson, I know went to school with Jefferson, but Jefferson is just on his way to the top in this company, and it's so awesome that you guys are, great friends. And so now the expert, like the Donald Trump type person that I've edified, is now saying good things about me in front of my prospect or my friend. So now she sees me a little bit differently now because the expert edified me. So now everybody's raised up. The whole information gateway is like kind of open now to really have this conversation. So now the expert's going to ask Megan some questions. On this training video is not about what the expert's going to say. It's about what you say to set everything up, which I just talked about. And so he's going to talk to her and all that, ask questions, get her to make a buying decision, and get her to make that decision or get her right, like really, really close, okay? So now the call is over. Hey, great to meet you. Thank you very much. Looking forward to working with you. And the expert's also going to talk about how we're going to work together as a team, how's their support, all that stuff, all right? So now we hang up, expert hangs up, and I'm going to stay on the phone with her real briefly for just like a minute. Okay, I don't want to get caught on the phone by myself trying to like backpedal. But what I want to do right here is I'm going to tell Megan, say, Megan, listen, you know me, right? And I'm doing this with or without you, but I'd love to have you on the team. I'm going to put thousands of people in this thing. I'm excited about it. It'd be a blast for all of us to go on trips together. Are you ready to get started? And I'm just going to pause and wait for her to say yes or well, or I'm just going to be quiet. Right? I'm going to give her time to process and think. Because see, sometimes you think the expert's supposed to do all the work. Yeah, they do most of the work, most of the heavy lifting, but really you're the one with the relationship with your prospect. So the expert's going to get them right to the goal line, okay? And all you're going to do is just kind of nudge them over. You're just going to say, hey, you know me, right? We've known each other for 15 years. We've been doing business now for 20 years, whatever the relationship is. And then you just say, Hey, you ready to get started? And you just ask them. You make it personal and talk about how you're going to crush this thing. People follow people with certainty and that know where they're going. And if in your posture, in your voice, that you're excited and you're letting your prospect know, that your friend know that you're going to do this with or without them, they're going to be like, yeah, like I'm in. Okay. But it's all about your posture and how sure you are and that you're going to do this thing. All right. The expert already did the heavy lifting for you. All you got to do is nudge them over the edge. Cool. Awesome. So that's how edification works. That's how you build that respect bridge between the expert and the prospect so they have leverage, okay, to help your prospect make a buying decision. And that's how edification works. And that also works on a 2-on-1 presentation at a coffee shop. It also works when you're just getting your new person started and you just want them to hear a bunch of new stories to kind of get their pulse up and get them excited at the end of a presentation. You can just edify all these different reps in that presentation to your prospect. 5 different experts can be in a presentation. All these people that have World Venture stories, just introduce your prospect to all the different people in World Ventures and let them hear their stories. And it just kind of validates everything. Does that make sense? And so the more you use this right here, the more you're going to be successful. I always get people that are like, well, Jefferson, I'm talking to all these people. I've done 50 presentations, but nobody's signed up. And I'm asking them, well, what are you doing after they see the presentation? Who are you getting on the phone? Who's validating you? They're like, no one? Duh, that's right. That's what needs to happen. You got to be validated. It's very, very important. So guys, wealth building is a team sport. Don't try to do this by yourself. Don't try to cowboy this thing up. And the last piece I want to share with you before I send you off to go build your business is this right here. Here's a baseball diamond, all right? And your job is to hit a home run and get back to home plate. But a lot of people misinterpret signing someone up as a member or whatever as getting a home run. That is not the home run. Okay, that's only first base. First base is getting that first sale. You make your list of your top 10 or top 20 people, get that first sale. That's only first base. Then you work with that new person, help them get their list of 20. That's second base, right? And then you help those new people get their first sale. That's third base. Okay. And then you getting your 6 is home plate. See, a lot of people, they think that getting around the bases is just making a sale. No, it's about getting to work. See, getting to work is getting to home plate. Getting that duplication is getting to home plate. That's the key thing that you need to do. And if you remember in a prior video, I talked about, 6, getting 36, 216, and 1296, right? On that 4th level, 1296, hypothetically, could earn you well over $25,000 in cycle pay and over $6,000 in residual income every single month. And so that's all you have to do is, we start at the beginning is getting your 6, and I'm ending right now full circle getting your 6 and going around the diamonds here. So with that said, happy building. I look forward to seeing you at one of our next training events in person and also on the beaches of the world. See you soon.